So second track on the album is Tyrant, Lizard, King, featuring Tom Morello.
Yeah.
Rage Against the
Yeah.
Machine as well,
Mad, isn't
which is a big one for you, I know, Frank.
Yeah.
I want to start off with the song though before we get onto the Tom Morello kind of thing. So Tyrant, Lizard, King, incredible title, incredible name for a band potentially.
That's true.
Don't you think, Alan? So yeah, I mean, you create this incredible picture of this Tyrant, Lizard, King, and with your lyrics, Frank. What did you have in mind when you were piecing this thing together?
It's literally, it's the Latin translation for Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's what it means. The Tyrannosaurus Rex just means Tyrant, Lizard, King. And I remember, I was with my daughter in a Natural History Museum, and I saw that, and I just remember being like, that is fucking, why is there no band called Tyrant? You know, there's a band called T-Rex. They missed the
really
trick,
missed it,
like,
didn't they?
you know. But ultimately, it was about a time when I spent a whole day with her, and I got home and I wrote that song, and it was just about. It was actually about me trying to process a lot of the things, a lot of the bad behaviour that I had at the time in my life, like, and where I was like really, I was in this weird juxtaposition of like, one day I was a dad and the next day I was a rock star, and I was like trying to balance those things, like, and trying to sort of find a way to like integrate them together. And what I missed was that's just who I am. I'm all of those sides, and you know, depending on the day, like one of them is going to shine through a bit more than the other. So yeah.
So Dean, when Frank walks in with the title Tyrant, Lizard, King,
Well, so
what are you thinking?
on this one, he came with more. He came with a riff. This is,
Oh, you came with the riff as well.
This is Frank's debut.
Wow.
Big
debut
moment.
riff.
There you go.
But sort of, I remember you sang it and recorded it at home in your head, and then sat with me on the sofa and tried to explain it to me for ages. And that took us probably longer to work that out than write the rest of the song.
Or the rest of the album.
Yeah. But Frank sort of like had loads of musical ideas over the albums, and I'm always really keen to try and turn them into like parts I can play, because anyone that doesn't have these hands writes different riffs. So it can often just be exactly what a song needs, which is just to change it up. And I don't think on this album I would have ever written the chorus riff like that, because it just works around the vocal.
Feel of it.
Yeah, it's a different approach. So then, because of that, I already had the verse riff, and so then really all that was left to work out was that kind of chaos in the bridge. So this song came together really quick.
How does Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine get involved in this? Where does he fit?
I mean, he's, you know.
You texted him, didn't you? You just texted him.
literally
You just
did,
texted him and went, do you want to put some guitar on a tune? He was like, aye, okay.
Yeah.
Where did you meet
Kind
him,
of,
first
yeah.
off? How did your relationship come back?
Okay, so my old band Gallows, we played, that Rage Against the Machine took us out on tour. We played a big show with them in Hyde Park and some shows in Italy and Dublin. And we've just always stayed in touch, you know, like it's the very first time I met him, I didn't actually meet him the first time he saw me.
Right.
We were playing in South by Southwest, and I remember looking up and there's like Tom Morello and Lars Ulrich and a few other massive names. You know, I think Dave Grohl was there. Like, it was in this tiny little bar at South by. And I remember seeing them across the room. We had like 4 songs left, and I just left. I just literally climbed out a window. I was like, I can't fucking do this. I had a massive breakdown. I was like, I was beating the fuck out. I was just raging, and I was just, we were knackered, and you know, and it was the middle of the day.
Wasn't the right moment.
Like 3 p.m. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like covered in blood, and I look up, and all these guys like tapping their foot, and I'm like, fuck this. Like, I'm fucking out of it. Like, this is way too stressful. Like, but he is always, from that, like, I think he's always respected me as a performer. And obviously, like, he raised me without knowing it, you know, like, they're arguably the most important band in my life, like, easily the top 3. And so we just reconnected last summer. We played a gig together, and he actually texted me to ask me about being on one of his future records. And I said, look, anything you need from me, you've got, but I've got a song right now that needs a bridge. And we would like a Tom Morello solo if you got some time. And he just was like, guess what, I got some time. Like, that was literally all it was. And he just said, you know, what do you want? And I said, for you to do whatever you want. Like, there's no restraint, like, have fun.